All right. Hey, everyone. We're live here with Nico Pereira at the Miramonte Resort in Indian Wells, California. Nico, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Pleasure being here with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited for this conversation. For people who don't know you, Nico, you were top 100 in singles, top 50 in doubles, and now you're doing TV analysis for NBC Sports this week, is that right? And then Tennis Channel next week as well. And I know you've done some stuff for ESPN and all that sort of thing. So really excited to have this conversation. So how's the World Team Tennis season been so far?
Well, it's had its difficulties, but I just find it very enticing. You know, the way they have it set up for the past 46 years. I just think the format, it's so fair and it makes for some exciting tennis from the start to the finish, and so many deciding points and so many matches have been close this week. As a matter of fact, I think all of them have been very, very close, decided by a point here and a point there. So those 2.5 to 3 hours that each match lasts, you know, they go very, very fast because it's interesting through and through.
Yeah, it's really nonstop. I was talking to Rick Leach last night about it, and yeah, you just don't get those games where a player's down 4-0 in a set and they just tank the next few games. You know, that doesn't happen because of the scoring format. It makes it a lot of fun. And another thing that we love about World Team Tennis is just all the doubles. That's really exciting to see as well. So I want to get into your story a little bit. I don't know your story, but I know you're from Venezuela. Not a ton of pro tennis players out of Venezuela. So how did you get started? Tell us a little bit about your career.
Well, my family, I was born in Uruguay, and then my family went to Venezuela when I was 3. They joined the club, and mom and dad loved to play tennis. Mm-hmm. So I guess from watching them, I started at around 6. Hitting against the wall, and there was some tradition in Venezuela. We had, you know, Connors and Ash and Panata and Gerolaitis and Borg. Economical situation was pretty good there in the 70s, 80s, up the way till the 90s. So we got to see a lot of tennis players. Okay. So the tradition was there.
So there was a tournament there?
There was tournaments, there was exhibitions, there was always some action, and Davis Cup was a big part of my attraction to tennis. That was always a big passion of mine.
Okay. Yeah, so that's another team tennis format there.
Yes.
Awesome. And then from Venezuela, you started playing professionally. You eventually get into the top 100. And top 50 in doubles. Talk a little bit about your pro career.
I started playing pro at 15, 16, went to volley at that time, played some satellites. And then by the time I was 17, I was pretty well established playing pro tournaments. And then that 88 year, I played some good junior tournaments, had some great results, and finished the year already in the top 150. And then by next year in April, I was already top 100, and it all went from there. You know, I started, you know, I would say at 16, 17, and played until I was 26.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And talking to a few of the players this week, they're really trying to balance kind of especially, you know, if they're on the younger side, they want to try to prioritize singles because kind of that's where the money is and that's what they need to look at going forward. How did you do that then at the time? Did you just prioritize singles, and then if they had a doubles draw, you could get in, you'd play, or what did that look like?
I always loved playing doubles. Doubles, you know, was very enticing to me. I loved the part where you team up. You know, I guess that's where the Davis Cup passion and the love for World Team Tennis comes from, and I always enjoyed that. So I played doubles since a very young age. It was encouraged to us to play doubles. Always, you know, when you start playing tennis, it's an individual sport. But for some reason, I always gravitated towards doubles. As a matter of fact, that you mentioned, by the time I got to like in the 40s in doubles, 42 I think was my highest ranking, I stopped playing singles. I had a shoulder injury, and for a couple of years there, I played mostly doubles. So I enjoyed that very much. And then I got back to singles when I was 21. I think I started playing more singles, but always played a lot of doubles.
What was your? What would you say was your strength in doubles?
I think I was a serve and volleyer growing up in Caracas, which is altitude.
Okay.
It's about 2,500 to 3,000 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So I always served and volleyed first and second serve. So I would think the serve and the hands at the net were probably my best asset.
Yeah, awesome. So and then eventually your pro career winds down. What happens after that? I know at some point you get into broadcasting, which you're doing.
Yeah, broadcasting, was a surprise, and it was not expected. I wanted to live in Venezuela and not have much to do with tennis. I didn't the first couple of years. So I retired in 97, and then in 98, the political situation changed. I was tournament director there for a challenger that we had down there, and then I always had a place in Miami, and I decided to move to Miami in 2000 because things were not looking good in Venezuela, and by then a channel opened in Miami in 99 to 2000, and I started working there because a friend invited me to broadcast or to commentate on some matches, and then little by little I started doing it more and more, and that channel closed in 2001, and those guys that worked there went to ESPN, and they kind of took me with them. So I started doing some work for ESPN, and I did it for 19 years until the end of 2019. And at the time I started doing some things for Tennis Channel, and starting in 2019 till now, I've been doing 10, 12 weeks a year with them, and I continue doing so.
Awesome. And what do you do with the rest of the year at this point?
Well, I live in Miami, and I have certain interests there. I do some real estate, and I do some consulting for tennis and university scholarships, and kids that want to go pro or kids that want to improve a little bit, talk to their parents and try to guide them. And, just try to spend as much time with the family as possible.
Yeah, awesome. So back to broadcasting, what do you feel like makes a good broadcast with so much experience?
Well, I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
We all have our subtleties and our strengths. In regards to what I try to do is I try to transmit or try to tell the viewer what the player is thinking at the time. To me, that's it's my passion. And you can really tell what a guy or a girl is thinking on the court by the way they're playing, the way they're behaving. So that part is really interesting to me, as well as the strategy part. When the players need to adjust a certain strategic point in order to get at the opponent. And then when players have played many times and are at the same level, but one guy tends to win, what makes that guy beat that particular style of player? And to me, that's just fascinating.
So you're really trying to get into the kind of mind of the players on the court.
That's what I enjoy. That's what makes it worthwhile for me, yes.
Awesome. Do you still play tennis?
I play a little. I have arthrosis in the knees. I don't have many meniscus to speak of, but I'm going in for a knee replacement in a couple of weeks if it pans out. Hopefully, I'll have a second go at it.
Awesome. So what's changed since you played? Obviously, the game's a lot different, but what are the big differences that you've noticed?
Well, I think the athleticism in the guys and the girls is just amazing. The way they prepare and how long their careers last, what injuries they're able to overcome. I don't think the science was there when we were playing, so I think that's the biggest change. In terms of strategy, you have a lot more information available, so I think the smarter guys will use it in better ways. So I think that's the main part. The physical part, I think, has improved tremendously. They're much better athletes than we were. The endurance part has also increased, and then the information available. I think it's a big advantage, and guys need to interpret it well. And I think if they make good use of it, it would make them a lot better players.
Yeah.
So I think you have to use all the tools to your advantage, and I think there are a lot more tools out there nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I remember reading Agassi's book Open for the first time, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And I think in one chapter he wins like a second round US Open match and goes to McDonald's after or something. And it's like the nutrition nowadays, like that they don't even eat McDonald's in the off season, I'm sure. And he's eating it in the middle of a major tournament.
Yeah, Andrew was pretty peculiar in his choices. We are born the same year. We played each other since we were 14, and we were at volley terrace together. So I can tell you, his eating habits are unique. And at one time, I remember he said, "You can never drive too far for a Taco Bell." He used to love Taco Bell.
Wow. Words that would discuss the current world number one, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Since Novak is like measuring every little ounce of carb and everything that he puts into his body. What have you changed about your broadcasting since you started?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I guess talk a little less. Sometimes, let the tennis flow a bit more, and then different markets demand different things. For the Latin market, I think it's different than for the English market. And I think English broadcasters are very influenced by the British way of broadcasting, because that was probably the original. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a little bit quieter. People appreciate it a lot more when you let them hear the point. I hate talking over the point, and it's, in English, I think it's more of a religion than in Spanish. In Spanish is a bit more forgiving, because Spanish listeners are, I would say, a little bit more relaxed in that sense. So I feel a real difference between Spanish and English broadcasting. And if I have to say I changed something now that I'm doing mostly English, I would say it's that. Okay.
So when you're doing a Spanish broadcast, you're talking during the point?
Not that much. No, obviously, that is something that is universal. But Spanish listeners are a bit more forgiving.
Okay.
I would think.
Okay, got it. So let's talk doubles strategy a little bit. You said you used to serve and volley all the time, which I think most good doubles players then definitely did that. And yeah, Rick Leach was telling me last night, you have Jack Sock now who serves and stays back, and he's one of the best doubles players in the world, and that just didn't happen at the time. How do you think about serve strategy on the doubles court?
Well, I'm a big fan of body serving.
Okay.
I like body serving. I think it's very useful. I don't think it's used enough.
Okay.
I encourage that in the people I try and help, or I see playing, not only in singles, but I think in doubles is even more important, because the space it's reduced in half by the two guys covering the court. Mm-hmm. So if you use it smartly, I think it's very efficient. And especially when you have a lefty, you have a lot of the most proficient teams in history have been a righty and a lefty.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's very useful, especially if you're serving against someone that likes to return on top of the baseline, on a fast surface. It's very useful on a fast surface more than in a slow one.
Sure. Yeah. So you're taking away a little space, a little time.
Yeah.
And you're saying the lefty serve, so it kind of comes into the righty forehand?
Yes, and sometimes, you get opponents that try and run around the forehand playing on the outside, and if you get a lefty there, it's very, very difficult. So it can be used very effectively.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then I guess the other thing there, you mentioned is because we're playing doubles, you've got that net player there to clean anything up. So it can't. In singles, you'll see Stan Wawrinka or whoever just kind of chip a deep return back in the court. In doubles, you can't get away with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about return strategy? How do you think about that?
Well, one of the best returners I played against was Todd Woodbridge, and he used to bunt a lot of returns to your feet. Mm-hmm. So it depends who you're playing. If you're playing somebody that's going to serve and stay back, it won't work as much as if you're playing a serve and volley. So if you have a guy serving and volleying, the bunt return, especially on the forehand side, which is where Todd used to return, it works really well. Rick Leach is another one of those guys that used the bunt return very effectively. Rick also played on the deuce side, and he used to hit that inside out forehand, not quite hard, so you had to create your own power, and then he would play mostly with Jim Pugh, and Jim was covered the net really well on that ad side, so it made it really difficult. So I think the bunt return is really effective if you're playing somebody that's serve and volleying, but then if you're playing somebody like Jack Sock, you need to get a little bit more creative, and good luck trying to get through Jack with that big forehand.
Yeah. So with the bunt return, how does somebody execute that? Is that kind of stepping forward a little bit more towards the box and taking time away, and then just...
You need to shorten the swing, catch the ball in front of you, and have good feel, because it can be tricky with the guy at the net moving. So it works good if you have good hands. The best returners in doubles. Look at John McEnroe. He used to bunt a lot playing on the ad side. He used to bunt that inside out backhand masterfully, and then he would do the work off the forehand side. So if you look at the great pairings of doubles, there is always one of them that it's usually a good bunt return.
Yeah, and it's really effective taking time away from that net player, that opposing net player. I play and my favorite position to be in is the server's partner, because I like to be really aggressive and move a lot at the net. And players who make me struggle the most are the ones who really step forward and take time away from me, so I don't have time to read the ball. So it's really effective to be able to step forward like that. So here at World Team Tennis, it's one of only, I believe, 5 times during the year where we have mixed doubles. How do you think about mixed doubles strategy? How's that different from men's or women's doubles?
Well, the women have become a lot stronger in the last 30 to 20 years. Yeah. So I think it's more evenly matched. Still, the mixed doubles, it depends a lot more on the woman's strength. Nowadays, I feel, because you have big servers, you have big returners playing the game, but still, the main games are the man's serve. You cannot afford to lose the serve of the man in the mixed doubles, and I think that's a big key. Woman serve, it's more accessible, it's more breakable, if you will. So you have to toy around with that, and it largely hinges on how strong or how the woman of the team can withstand the power of the other team's man. I think that hinges a lot on that, the result of the mixed. I find that interesting.
Absolutely. So let's say you're playing a mixed doubles match. How do you think strategically about holding the woman's serve?
A lot of first serves. Even if she goes big, it will probably not be as big as a man's first serve, mostly. And make sure that when the woman is serving, especially to the man, to make sure that she makes a lot of first serves, even if she has to go a little bit down on the speed, just to increase the percentage of first serves. That's a big key right there. Yeah,
first serve percentage is huge in doubles. Okay, so you said you like to serve and volley a lot. When you played, what was your favorite play in doubles? So, for example, my favorite play is to poach off the return. I love when an opponent's serving and volleying, my partner can hit a low return at their feet, and as soon as I see it kind of dipping over the net, I'll just move. I love ending a point that way. What was your favorite play?
Yeah, that's enticing because it allows you to intrude, if you will, on the play between the server and the returner, and you are just a bystander. And at that point, once you make the move, you become the main person on the court. So yeah, I like that. I like the reflex volleys at the net. I felt that I always got the better of the opponents there. Yeah. I felt, like I had good hands at the net. So whenever, I could interact or hit it to the other volleyer, I felt I had the upper hand.
Yeah, awesome. What would you change about professional tennis?
Whoa.
Let's say you become
That's a broad one, but...
You can change anything. It can be the rules of the game. It can be the way the ATP or WTA or World Team Tennis or anything's constructed.
As a fan, which is basically what I am now, I would like to see more double-up weeks, more weeks that they have man and woman playing together. I think that gives us a broader sense of the game. It brings the fans a better feel for the two games and the difference between the man and the woman, the subtleties of each competition. So I feel that the WTA and the ATP should join together and have more double-up weeks. I think that is something that I would bring.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of that for a long time, I guess. And I know it would be a very complicated merger, but I think I agree. I think it would be good for the sport, good for the fans, good for the players as well.
I think it'll definitely bring more sponsorships nowadays with the way the global economy is working. I feel that the way that the wages have improved on the women's side, the equality movement that has been going on strongly for the past few years. It's been going on for a long time for people like Billie Jean King. She's always been a fighter in that sense, but I think for the sponsors, it's more appealing if you have man and woman. I think it would be better for the game.
Yeah, and World Team Tennis is one of the only sporting events that has that. It's equal prize money for the men and women. You've got women's singles, women's doubles, mixed doubles. It's everything's dead even.
It was visionary to have started it 46 years ago, 47 years ago. So I think it's visionary, and it speaks to the sense that the founders had, and I think team tennis should keep growing. I think it's a great concept, and who knows, maybe even increase the number of participants and the reach that it has. I think that it's being 50-50 between man and the woman, the responsibilities of a team. It makes it what these times are all about, and I think it should grow from here.
Yeah, it definitely should, and it's a lot of fun to watch too. So let's go through a couple rapid fire questions, and then I will let you go. What was your favorite tournament, or what is your favorite tournament?
Well, Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Yes.
Okay. I get that answer a lot.
But you do.
What is your favorite tennis book?
Oof. That is a tough one.
You can pick a top 3 if you want.
Well, there was a book written by Gavin Forbes' dad, but I don't recall the name right now. But it was really interesting because it talked about that era of tennis that players used to go and stay in Europe 5, 6, 7 months. It was a way of life instead of a money-making situation. I like that romanticism about tennis, but I do not have the name off the top of my head. It's Gordon Forbes that wrote it.
I'll look it up.
Gordon recently passed away, a great gentleman of tennis.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll find that book and link to it in the show notes for anybody listening. What is your favorite non-tennis book?
I would have to go with Paulo Coelho's books. I like Shogun. But when I was playing, it was mostly thrillers. So
yeah,
a lot of Robert Lundlund when I was traveling.
Okay, there you go. What's your favorite tennis story? It can be a personal story or a story you heard from someone else.
I guess my own. You know, I lived it passionately since I was 6, and it was not without a lot of accidents. I had to endure a lot, and my family had to sacrifice a lot. But you know, there are some great stories out there. So if you know, not to talk about my own story, I like Yannick Noah's stories. It's pretty cool. You know, what he did to play, while he played, and after he played, I think is a good one. And I'm a big fan of Jan.
Awesome. So last question for you. How do we make doubles more popular?
Doubles?
No, we've got the book here.
Yeah, I got it. A Handful
Gordon
of Summers. Yeah.
By Gordon Forbes. Okay.
You should check it out.
We'll link to that.
Doubles? Get more money in doubles, and
how do we do that?
And get better players in terms of get the singles players involved in the doubles. You know, it's difficult because the big movement in the tournament side to have less doubles because doubles players cost a lot of money to the tournament. So it's a tricky one. You know, but I think money is the key. The more money you put, the more people you'll see playing doubles, and right now, that just does not look very likely.
Yeah. So how do we get more singles players playing doubles then? I mean, we obviously if we increase the prize money for these doubles tournaments, that would help. But it's kind of like a chicken or the egg problem.
Exactly.
We can't just increase the money if we don't know it's.
Well, in the 90s, the doubles guys, Mark Knowles and Nestor and those guys, they did a great job.
Yeah.
In getting the prize money to go from 80% singles to 70%. So it broke 70% singles, 30% doubles, and that got a lot of players making a living off doubles. That was the big breakthrough. But it looks highly unlikely that ATP, WTA will go 60 or 65% singles and the rest in doubles. The big push is for the singles, and that's what sells the tickets, and that's what is watched on TV. You know, I think it's a tricky situation, but to make it more enticing, you need big personalities. That's what sells, and the big personalities are the better known ones, and are the ones that are more on the TV. You see very little doubles on TV.
Right.
So I think that could be a way to get it back in the and be it more mainstream. You know, to show a little bit more doubles on TV. Have it in the streaming service on the tennis channel streaming or the podcast. Advertise it a bit more.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to go.
Yeah. Is that what the split is right now? 70-30?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I did not know that. Yeah, I'll be watching Tennis Channel, and sometimes they'll be showing, replays of a Nadal or a Djokovic match, and there's a live doubles match on, and they're showing a replay, and it's, I don't know, as a big doubles fan, it's a little bit frustrating to see, but I understand that money talks, and
that's the way it goes, man.
That's what we have to figure out. Awesome, Nico. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, and congrats, man. It's a great idea to have this double podcast, and I wish you luck.
Thank you very much. If you want to become a smarter doubles player and start winning more matches, then join the Tennis Tribe Doubles Strategy newsletter. Every single Thursday, I'll send you a new doubles tip or tactic that you can use in your very next match. And when you join, you're going to get a free guide on how to play with more confidence and start dominating at the net in doubles. My name's Will. I'm the founder of the Tennis Tribe, and over the last 5 years, I've worked with players at every level of the game, from USTA 3.0 players all the way to Division I college programs, as well as some of the top 10 doubles players in the world. And on Thursdays, with this strategy newsletter, I share that knowledge and advice that I've gained over the years with you. So to sign up, you can go to thetennistribe.com. And again, you'll get that free net play guide when you join.